In the midst of one of the worst housing crises in living memory, some politicians say social housing is needed now more than ever. A decrease in building for over a decade has left thousands of people unable to afford to put themselves on the property ladder. Good houses are being boarded up by local councils while people are sleeping rough.
Over the last couple of years, a process of detenanting has started, and as people leave, the windows and doors are boarded up. I don't think that's acceptable. I put a motion down earlier this year to have them refurbished and reopened temporarily until it's very clear what is happening to this site. But I think for the moment, temporarily, given the housing crisis that we have, we should at least be able to refurbish these temporarily and have them reopened for people, at least who would house 16 people temporarily until a definite plan of action is put in place for this site.
People living with disabilities are sometimes overlooked in relation to the housing crisis and oftentimes forgotten about. Ease of access, facilities, recreational areas are all left wanting.
Well, I think people with disabilities should be prioritised into the house, and access probably wouldn't be an issue once they're close to the school and once they're in the area they want to live in. But I think in relation to disability issues, I think that people should be able to have more of a choice in where they live and in the kind of housing that they end up with. They need to be near public transport. They need to be near their consultants and the medical facilities that they have. They need to be near friends and family, obviously, as well, for support. Another issue I have a huge concern about is the fact that the GP letter isn't sufficient. I think in the case of people with disabilities, a GP letter should be sufficient, and they should not have to wait around to get consultants' letters as well.
Recently, legislation was passed which enabled building contractors to bypass the planning authority, provided that a development has over a certain amount of units.
Well, earlier this year, the Minister brought in new legislation that can fast-track the building process. And if a developer, puts in an application for 100 units or more, they can put the application straight into An Bord Pleanála. Now, my concern about that is it will encourage developers to have much smaller units and much more of them. And in some parts of Dún Laoghaire Down, I think particularly Stillorgan, one-bedroom apartments is not really the solution here. If we have families living in hotels, they need something better than that. If we have people who want to buy a property, families who want to buy a property, we need something far more suitable. So I think the fact that this fast-tracking process is in place will actually encourage developers to build higher volume of homes on a site, as opposed to building what is really more suitable for the area. My real concern here as well is the amount of families who are working, maybe both parents working in good jobs, who are renting. And in reality, they should be encouraged to buy their own homes. But as long as you keep packing in small units, such as 1 or 2 bedroom apartments, they're not going to be suitable for those families. As long as they keep renting, they're pricing people who are not as well off out of the rental market, and they're putting them on the housing list.
Affordable housing for people trying to get their foot on the property ladder has never been harder. In Stillorgan and the area of Dún Laoghaire Down, there is definitely a feeling of a tale of two cities. Conor Waldron, DFVI News.